for another episode. You left off on here. Or there. Maybe. Start recording. Story's been getting pretty... what's the word? Special so far. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the waters. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them. These roses might be done in by tonight's winds. These roses might be done. Wait, you're right. Rosa. Parentheses at the end there. Still, I think the roses were pretty lucky. After all, they got to welcome all of you before the typhoon. All flowers lose their petals eventually, but that means we can admire them even more when they're removed. That's right. Maria, burn this image into your eyes. At this moment, they're the best roses of Eden. Burn into eyes! Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looks like she remembers something. My rose. The typhoon will send it flying. Oh, you mean that sad-looking rose George and Nikki marked with a ribbon? Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
Oh, boy.
Where was that again? I'm sure it was somewhere around here. Probably doesn't have that high of a voice. We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find. Maybe it wasn't here. Let's try spreading out a bit in our search. Sounds good. Let's go for strength in numbers. What's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot. What is it? What's wrong? Oof. My rose is here. It's here. But it's actually not, right? Maybe it was on the other side of the flower bed. If we all look, we'll find it fast, okay? Oh! It's here! My rose is here! Look for it! Look for it! Oh! Maria stopped her feet in irritation. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket. Not here! Not here! Not here! Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Oh man, Maria's really losing her temper. Sometimes Maria starts to really care about really pointless stuff. If she gets what she wants, that's okay, but you can't find something that isn't there. That's not good. Just when we were at a loss what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. Mama! Oh, oh! We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came, or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming out from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over. Sometimes her mouth moves without me telling it to, just without me noticing. What happened, everyone? Are you looking for something? Look for it. Look for my rose too. Like an unconscious movement that I don't want to have happen. The rose? We found an unhealthy rose around here and marked it. We tied a candy wrapper around it. But Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right in front and really stood out, didn't it? Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else. Maybe you remembered it wrong. times do I have to tell you to stop saying ooh, ooh before you'll understand? I'm gonna look for it. So stay quiet. I'd never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. And me too. Aunt Rosa became searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being, but we were already more than sure that it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too. Some people say aunt, others say aunt. I think it's supposed to be aunt. I always say that one. And I don't know, maybe I'm making things up. Rose isn't here. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else? There's so many roses around. That's wrong! It is here! Mama doesn't believe! You're getting so hostile, Maria. I already believed you and looked hard for it, didn't I? But it isn't here. But it is here! It is here, but it isn't! And someone must have ripped it out. Anyway, stop saying ooh, ooh. Who ripped out my rose? Who did? Give it back! Give it back! How should I know? Stop it. Stop saying ooh, with his poor mother. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. Oh no. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. My rose! My rose! Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all the kids in your class make fun of you. Cut it out! Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. Next time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl out in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up. Aunt Rosa, now, she's just a little kid, so there's no reason to get so serious. I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together, but Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized I should have stayed out of this. I'm sorry, but could the rest of you go back to your room for a bit? I need to have a little talk with you, Nobody believes my rose. I thought it was here, but even though it was here. Look for it! Look for it! Here! It was here! But it's not here. So you must have confused this place for somewhere else, right? It is here! It's definitely here! Then it disappeared. Give it up. Why? Why did it disappear? What? I don't know that. So stop saying ooh. Oh man, this is a little sad. Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Hey, Aunt Rosa. Even if she is your daughter, violence isn't the answer. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying. I knew that, as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. Well, it wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this. Don't you think it's weird, Bad Work? Are there any girls at your school who mutter, ooh? Well, I am in high school, but for an elementary school, I think saying ooh is pretty cute. Cute? Saying ooh is cute? Cute! Why are you so mean to her? My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression. Don't say such nonsense. Do you know how old Maria is? She's 9. She's a 4th grader, not a kindergartner. But she still makes that sound during class. Don't you get it? Don't you know what they say about this kid when they bully her? Thanks to this weird habit, she still hasn't made a single friend. Don't turn your eyes from reality and carelessly call Maria cute. Think more seriously about this kid's future. I told you, stop making that sound. Didn't I tell you to stop it? Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George and Nikki. A long time ago, Aunt Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria Chan's baby words. But now it hasn't been fixed even midway through elementary school. She's been worrying about it a lot. How she talks isn't really that big of a deal, right? She'll never make it as an adult if she's like that. So even though it isn't fun to watch, this is a problem between parent and child. Well, even I get chewed out by Mom all the time because of how I talk. When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on. Badward, when you were a kid, didn't you have any bad habits that you couldn't fix and that got you into trouble? Well, one or two. On Parents' Day once, I kept getting yelled at in front of everyone, and it was embarrassing as well. Well then, you can understand how the two of them must feel right now. I'm sure they don't want us to be here now. You understand too, don't you, Jessica Chan? I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being scolded. That's at school. Let's go. Or return to the guest house. Mr. T. Then, after Maria Chan comes back, let's welcome her as if nothing happened. That's probably for the best, isn't it? We thought George and Niki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable-sounding argument as a justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George and Niki, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it. In that case, look by yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care. I'll look for it by myself, even if Mama doesn't care. What's the big deal? She still says words. Have it your way. After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall in on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place, not until she found that poor Wilton house. Kinda feels like if someone would have Tourette's. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Man, this is heavy stuff. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die. "You're late, Beatrice." Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. "Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our banquet of miracles. This island has now been cut off from the world. Now there are none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren, me and my guests and my servants. You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because of that, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. There goes the text filling the whole screen again. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. First, I'll return the inheritance of the Jeremiah family. Accept it. Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off with his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted. And when you are resurrected, surely I will be the one who stands witness. I will survive until the end and watch over you as you awaken. So come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle just this once. Oh, Beatrice. I don't know how to say that. Like the E's at the end. Being tracked. Great. A new sticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops being harshly on the window were even more convincing. This rain's incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it also feels like it might stop at any moment. You wish! They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it might be like this all day at tomorrow. And even a little bad weather stops the boats from coming. It looks like we won't be able to head out on Sunday after all. Just in case, I cleared all outside business for my Monday schedule, and I'm glad I did. Which means, looks like we'll get to skip school Monday. Living on an island's starting to sound pretty good. Come to think of it, Jessica, you've got to take a boat to school every day, don't you? What do you do when the boats stop running? Do you stay home? When it rains, you stay home, I should say. Just forgot the T. Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing, like King Kamehameha? Okay. If the boats don't come, I stay home. Still, it's not as good as it sounds. Usually, I'm ordered to study by myself, and it's not that fun with someone standing right behind you watching everything you do. During the rainy season, does the weather ever stay bad for a long time and make you miss a bunch of days in a row? That does happen sometimes. Still, I get a call from my homeroom teacher every single day, who sourly guides me on how I should teach myself and what I have to turn in. She can't skip school as easily as you were imagining, Battle. She's got to follow the rules for people that travel to school by boat to get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier just to go to school. In my own room, I get distracted and can't concentrate. After being made to do nothing but workbooks for several days straight, it's pretty hard to handle all that mental stress. When I get into college, I really just want to go to some dorm and quickly say goodbye to this inconvenient island. Okay. By the way, what do you do when the weather's good in the morning, but then gets so bad on your way home that the boats are closed? Do you spend the night at school? That actually happens a lot. But because of that, they've built some lodgings there for people who can't get back to the island they live on. That's where you'd spend the night. Sometimes when it gets really bad, you can't get back home for a few days at a time. Someone commuting to school or work on a train packed with twice its capacity might carelessly think that commuting by boat would be pretty interesting and fun, but it sounds like it comes with troubles of its own. You hear thoughtless tourists saying stuff like that all the time. I've had enough of island life. I really want to just graduate school and say goodbye. Like, I really just want to just graduate high school and say goodbye to this island. Yeah. But there are all dorm schools, even for high school, right? Why do you choose that ingenious school of all places? I wanted to go one of those from the beginning. But Mom's always going on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as the successor. I am so... Wait. So I ended up sticking close to home even for high school. I read like the next word without seeing the stuff at the beginning. Man, I hate this island. I just want to go live in a city. I don't care if rain or even spirits fall from the sky, as long as I can move to a city where I can wear casual clothes and sandals, and I can get to a convenience store in less than 5 minutes. Hold out just a little longer. Just a bit more and you'll graduate high school, right? I can't wait a little longer. Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot because there wasn't any interest in programs on. Because there weren't any interest in programs on. Yeah. And we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. Yes? The preparations for dinner are complete. Please come to the mansion. It was, wait, Kanarkin? It was Kanarkin's voice. Oh. Did he go through all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? I thought it was Shannon. Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. Also, some people say route instead of route. I think either one would work. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. Oh. George and Nikki turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for a while. I've always been a huge fan of the main family's dinners. I didn't go to Santa's Day, it was cat steak or something. Oh, I can't wait! Our dinners are always even more fabulous than usual when the family conference comes around. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, let's go. As we left the room, Kanankan bowed silently and respectfully. Okay, let's go. Is the rain pretty nasty out there? I think it's him and her talking. Yes. Take care not to get your garments wet. Kananku reminds me of a younger me. After seeing the three of us out, Kananku peered into the empty room. Wasn't Maria-sama with you? No, she's not. Wasn't she with Aunt Rosa? Rosa was lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little, before the weariness immediately dragged her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she'd been shocked with electricity. Ah! Thank you, Genji said. When she realized that the thing that touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. Did I wake you? My sincere apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? When he asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket. It is slightly after 6 p.m. 6 o'clock. Might be p.m. Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it felt like she'd slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep. Thank you. I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such a strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain has finally started pouring down in earnest, hasn't it? Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain. The wind's blowing hard, too. I wonder if the typhoon's finally here. That was sure. That's what they said on TV. The typhoon, wait, I don't know. The typhoon is moving slowly, but I think it will be like this all day tomorrow. Really? So our last chance. Wait, so our last chance to see that wonderful rose garden must already have passed by. From the window, which she could see if the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and the rain. I think it went, Rosa, then Genji, after that Rosa. Maria. That's right, what about Maria? I have not seen her. Did she not return to the guest house? Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Even in pouring rain. No, the cousins left before I did, so Maria was alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she'd stay there even if it started raining spears, without even opening an umbrella. Ah, how could I have lost control of my emotions and done such a thing? Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she'd once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and down the hall. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain. The wind was worth typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it certainly was over the rain. There was no time to admire the roses that had finished. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she's still rebelliously searching for that rose alone, do you? I wonder. Surely she wouldn't do this rain, or at least, I wish I could believe that. But Maria-chan sometimes gets really stubborn and intense and straightforward. I don't know what to do to make their voices sound different. They're both just teenage boys. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Kananga had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried. I did not see her in the mansion, so I was sure she was here. After all, Aunt Rosa's son was taking a nap. You didn't see her on your way over here. I apologize. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could, so I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place for Rosa, where Maria had been looking for a rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Kananga to fail to notice her. Instead of arguing around here, it'd be faster to just check it out directly. Aniki, why don't we race over there? Oh, do you think you can beat me now that you've been growing for 6 years? Okay, let's set this. Go! George, Niki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Kananga were following us. Maria! If you're there, answer me! Maria! It's Aunt Rosa. Hey, Aunt Rosa! George and Niki pulled back, and Rosa jumped in and grabbed onto him. Sorry, did I read that right? I don't remember. Where's Maria? Isn't she with you? No, we didn't meet with Maria-chan after that. Did she get abducted? Maria... 6 years ago, Maria was 3 years old. Yep, that's math. She was a cute and pure kid who just accepted whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life, she was talking something. But Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. Her face, which had turned bright red from crying her eyes out, was dirty with water and dirt. It was a truly pitiful sight. Maria, are you still looking? Can't find my rose. Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone. Unfortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely stuck. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Madeline, thank goodness, you found me. Maria! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. You better be, girl. It's not here. My rose isn't here. I'll look for it with you later. Okay? so just put it on hold for today. Okay? Put it on hold for today. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, or she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica did not require her. I'll have a towel ready in that mansion. In the mansion immediately. Maria! Wait, Maria! Were you here this whole time? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. Hey Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? If we stay here, Maria will catch up with you. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't get you cleaned up, Grandfather will be mad. What? It's already time to eat. You did a good job pulling out Maria. Once the weather gets better, we'll all go search together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. When she remembered we were having cat steak for dinner, she started chanting, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying food. I see. So she had an umbrella on her. Maria sure is good at packing the right stuff. I didn't bring the umbrella. What? Then how did you get that white umbrella you were holding? No. I borrowed it. Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter and decided to at least give her an umbrella. I see. I'll have to thank that person. Who was it? Beatrice! Yeah. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that it wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Really? That's wonderful. So, who was it? Who brought you that umbrella? Beatrice! Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying out happily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing that subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever went Maria that umbrella during dinner rather than ask Maria herself. Father, please at least join us for dinner. There won't be a family conference otherwise. Along with the doll pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard. Grimsel said, won't you at least come out for dinner? All your children have gathered here to see your face, haven't they? Silence, Nanjo. So the bishop won't work. One move too short. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears. Kinzo-san, I'm hungry myself. Why don't we go down and eat? Go by yourself if that's what you want. Go by yourself if that's what you want. I said like go by as in, I thought it was like B-U-Y. Go B-Y yourself. Let me consider this next move for a little longer. We are going to finish it tonight. Otherwise, it's doubtful we'll finish before the world ends. What? Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it comes to chess, but he'd never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that, no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Krause was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Krause let out a sigh of relief. Dr. Nanjo, his father. I'm sorry, I couldn't be of service. Right now, the room is Kinzo-san's whole world. Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Krause raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting, Father, can you hear me? We're heading down now, but please join us anytime you feel like it. All of your children are waiting for you. His voice was very loud. He was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching them, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he'd been called out for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate. Neither dinner nor the faces of my children interest me in the slightest. I will only leave here if Beatrice is resurrected, or if I am chosen as a sacrifice to the keep. The demon's roulette has already started spinning. What meaning does dinner have at this point? As though the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo suddenly thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Beatrice or Beatrice, I will never know, because I can't decide on one. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Just people, knowing that their names can be pronounced two different ways. Oh, I'll take either. Cross, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nancho. Father says he still is not feeling well. He truly regrets missing this once-a-year opportunity to sit together with his gathered family. Even Rudolph. Okay, no, not yet. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret. And none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence. You could just say snicker, like candy bar. Then why don't we start dinner? Go to begin. Then why don't we start dinner? Wait, certainly go to. Oh, I haven't seen that in a little bit. Well then, if you allow me. When Godo was sold to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine. Throughout the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin. May I ask who lent Maria an umbrella? When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed. An umbrella? What's this about? A short while back, Maria was in the rose garden when it started raining, and she apparently borrowed a white umbrella from someone. I wanted to thank them. It wasn't one of us. After you left, we moved to a different room and had a friendly chat that whole time. Haha, that's right. Even after that, the siblings had a real friendly chat. The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hideyoshi's lips, so even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation hadn't been a pleasant one. At the very least, it couldn't have been me, Ida, Rudolph, Hideyoshi-san, or Kairi-san. We were together the whole time, even after Natsuri-san, Nisan, and Rosa-san left. The whole time until the meal started. Nisan went up to study with Genji-kan to call father. At that time, the rest of us went straight to the dining hall, so it wasn't one of us. Couldn't it have been a servant kind enough to lend an umbrella? So, was it you, Goda-san? I have been in the kitchen the whole time preparing. My sincere apologies. Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing his chance to show off. At that time, Shannon and Kumasawa appeared, pushing a servant cart loaded with horse de forest. Oh. Then what about Kumasawa-san and Shannon? Or Shannon-chan? Yes? Has something gone wrong? Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking that the others were searching for the one responsible for some error. It isn't like that. It started to rain when Maria-chan was alone in the rose garden. After that, someone lent her an umbrella. Aunt Rosa said she wanted to thank that person. Beatrice! Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled. Ho. It wasn't us. Shan-san and I were preparing the rooms together, so we did not go outside. Yes. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be of assistance. Preparing the rooms? What do you mean by that? Because of the rain, we thought it would be troublesome for all the guests to return to the guest house, so the servants were ordered to prepare the guest rooms inside the mansion. Really? How thoughtful. Yes, it certainly would be rude to chase us outside in this rain. Would you give it a rest? Yes. After receiving the order from Madame Kumasawa-san, and I started preparing the rooms. Then it became time for dinner, so Genji-sama ordered Kanan-kun to go to the... I think it's gone. To go to the guest house and summon the children. Yes. So, did Kanan-kun find Maria on the way to the guest house and hand her the umbrella? Wrong! The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find it. And she thought asking like this when everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately. Then, was it you, Natsume-san? I'm sorry. After everyone's friendly chat, my headache was so bad that I had been resting in my room. Therefore, I did not go outside. Then, who was it? George-kun and the kids? That can't be right. No, it wasn't us. We were watching television in the guest house the whole time. Actually, we thought Maria had just gone back to the mansion with you. Then Kanan-kun came, and he asked whether Maria was with us. That's when we first realized she wasn't in the mansion. I mean, if it were me, I had have grabbed her hand and pulled her under a roof before giving her an umbrella. Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it, even though it wasn't really something anyone would need to hide. So, by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't large. Of course, it wasn't me. Right after it began raining, I visited Kinzo-san's room, and I was playing chess with him until just now. Which means that it also wasn't grandfather. Which means that it also wasn't... wait a sec. I already read that. Isn't this starting to get a bit weird? Who's left? Then, who was it? Genji-san? Huh? Wait a second, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm searching for some culprit or anything. All I want to do is, as a mother, thank the person who gave Maria an umbrella in the middle of the rain. Giving an umbrella to the girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not kidding. Despite that, no one raised her hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. Calm down, Rosa. Why don't we just ask the person who was lent the umbrella? That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads as to why she didn't just ask Maria who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked. Of course! Rudolph-kun here's got it right. Maria-chan, tell your uncle. Who lent you the umbrella? Beatrice! The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but it was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Ha ha ha. I see, so Beatrice, the witch of the forest, felt pity and lent her an umbrella. What a lovely story. Rosa, there you have it. Ugh. Rosa couldn't believe it, even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella. Why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke? Just like Uncle Cross said, Beatrice, let me borrow it. Ha ha ha. Isn't that wonderful? We should all be jealous of such purity. What do you think, everyone? Ha ha ha. Cross was laughing with a face that was purely mocking, but Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. How did that work? Does that mean a witch really appeared and lent her an umbrella? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me. Has Maria ever been the type to make jokes? If we'd heard that kind of story pop out of my old mouth, we would have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. This was getting pretty unnerving. No way. She's always been frank and serious. She's the sort who believed any joke, even when normal people could instantly tell her lies. I'd never even heard of her cracking a joke. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. So, if Maria says she borrowed an umbrella from Beatrice, that must mean it really was Beatrice. We're talking about Maria here, so I can't think of it as some kind of metaphor or joke. It might be best to take what she says at face value. Then what's going on? Are you saying Genji-san or someone put on that fancy dress from from the portrait and gave Maria that umbrella? I'm not sure about that. Actually, that's what I want to know. Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the horse de force, that's French, the horse de force, I think, were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge. The meal began. A couple casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant, and the meal ended up being so quiet that you couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. Feel free to correct me on my pronunciation in the comment section. Kumasawa and Shan, pushing the servant cart, ran into Genji and Kanan on their way to the kitchen. Oh, it's Genji-san? Did you and Maria send an umbrella? An umbrella? What are you talking about? Well, I heard when it started raining. Maria somehow was alone in the rose garden trying to get the voices right all the time. It seems she borrowed an umbrella from someone there, but we don't know who it was. It wasn't me. After all, I actually thought Maria-sama was in the guest house. When Badori-sama first found her, she was already holding a white umbrella. My apologies, but it was not me either. Then, could it actually be the master? Both in the dining hall and right here, everyone had stated that they hadn't done it. That only left Onikinzo, but maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason, when he just happened to see Maria-sama in the rose garden without even an umbrella. The master is not particularly fond of Maria-sama. I agree. I can't imagine that, for Maria-sama's sake, you go to all the trouble of descending the stairs with an umbrella. Oh my, how troublesome. Does that mean the one who lent Maria-sama an umbrella really was Beatrice-sama? I keep saying Beatrice or Beatrice. Man. Kumasawa laughed just like the relatives in the dining hall who had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break this through the smoke veiling in the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang through the hallway. I'm just gonna go with the pronunciations I made. I mean, even if you correct me, these videos will all be uploaded as recordings, so I wouldn't really keep track of that, but it is nice to know. They all turned around at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall. Okay, everyone. When serving a dinner, proper timing while setting the table is essential. Please immediately see us setting out the shop. Genji-san, the women are in the middle of an important job, so please don't get in their way. Kanan glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanan respected. So many names. Genji, realizing this, patted Kanan once on the shoulder as a warning. Kanan reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal. Obey Goda's instructions. Hurry up and prepare the dinner table. Come now, there's no time. Don't dawdle. Hurry. Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen. Then, please allow us to return to the kitchen. After all, Goda-san's temper is very short. Please excuse me as well. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanan remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunder. Genji-sama, did Beatrice-sama really return? I don't know. Shall I inform the master? That is not necessary. If she truly has returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she is a fickle person. It would be pointless to report to the master only to find that she does not appear. I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun. Probably. However, that has nothing to do with furniture like us. We must continue to return the favor received from the master until our final moments. Yes. That is furniture's doing. So dark. The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out of the window but the darkness at night. Just as humans roll when the sun is up, those that are not human roll when the sun is down.
the darkness of night, the master around a rocking Jima was ruled by another master, not those Shu in my family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanan looked at the rose garden's light. It's dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights were enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanan forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off. And in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake accompanied by pear sorbet. I think some people say sorbet. Goda-san enthusiastically explained us the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented. But I quickly presented the details. I think it's pronounced sherbet, though. Which is weird. I don't know why words are pronounced not what they look like. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent. The weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of the meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda-san, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left toward the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. My, what a waste at the dinner Goda worked so hard to create has met with such gloomy atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. It just feels like nothing would taste good today. Oh, I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up. And Eva grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also missing. Apparently, there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Both Aunt Eva and my dad aren't looking too happy. Really? I don't think so. I asked Aunt Natsui, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested. Well, our dog conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Madeline. Ha ha ha. Isn't that right, Natsui-san? Kairi-san? Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness, so I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsui and Kairi-san, the people who he directed his comment to, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away. I don't know what's going on in my brain. What it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when he arrived at the mansion. Just can't stutter. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comment was ignored by the other adults and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kairi-san spoke up. We were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out. Such as what lies in your future, Battle-King. Will you just drift down to college? Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for the long race of life? Hey, wait a second. Kairi-san, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, it won't digest well, and we'll all end up getting constipated. Wahaha! That's right. We were talking about Battle-Racoon's and Jessica-chan's careers. You've got to think seriously about the future. Wahaha! Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if they really had been talking about that, but that was probably wrong. That probably isn't what his laugh should sound like. It's like, this is what it should be. We have that laugh at home. That laugh at home, what I make. Kaiser-san had obviously been trying to change the subject. However, if Kaiser-san had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the serving cart returned filled with coffee and tea. Kumasawa-san and Chan-chan served it to everyone. Goto-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner in my life. It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been under the best conditions. George Onich, is dinner over now? Over? Yes, with this dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seat and calmly drink up. Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. Look at her big eyes, they're so pretty! She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting. Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George and Nikki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, taking out her handbag, which she set under her seat, never having left it and while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you get it? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Bador noticed too. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Shiramaya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have brought as a prank. Maria-chan, what is that? It seemed that Natsui at all so noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone watching a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too. What happened, Natsui-san? What is that? Maria, where did you pack that up? That envelope has Kinjo-san's. When Najo muttered that, even as kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Shiramaya family head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it can only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo. Oh, what is an envelope like that doing here? Now, that is an interesting thing to come jumping out at us. Just let me have a peek. Ooh. No way, hurry. I was told to read it to everyone. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go. Hideyoshi-san, you can't use force against a child. Maria-chan, where did you get this envelope? Oh, I got it from Beatrice. And she gave me the envelope. I like how Beatrice sounds more, but I don't know. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. Wait, that's her. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's messenger. Oh. Messenger? The almighty witch of the island sure likes to mess around. Sador tried to joke about it, but no one laughed. I wonder what's written inside of it, Maria-chan. Oh, gotta read it. Oh. Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. That sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table where Natsui, Kairi, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted into the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Shiramaya family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest. This is the family has personal crest. I know it from the letters I have received from Kinzo-san before. Without a doubt, this is his wax seal. I can do the voices, but I just can't remember what I did to them. But aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, if there was some kind of stamp for wax seals, couldn't someone other than Kinzo-san have used it? No, Kinzo-san would always use a ring on his finger. His proof of this Shiramaya family headship when he sealed the wax. This shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo-san's seal. That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from Father at least once. We can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a muzzle, create a fake seal and pass themselves off as Father. I agree with Aniki. No matter how much the seal resembles Dad's, we can't prove that it's the real thing. So, it doesn't prove this envelope came from him. I absolutely agree. I cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from Father based solely on the wax seal. Dr. Ninja, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words? I apologize. It was not my place to speak. One after another, all of the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intention were anything. There, I think that last line was narration and not Kinzo talking. Yeah, and that it might be, not Nanjo talking. Not Nanjo talking? And that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable with them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope was the same person who lent you that umbrella, right? I don't know what "ooh" means. Is it true? Yes. So, in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria-chan that envelope along with the umbrella? Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. It isn't even worth reading. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Badwer said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsui heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes. And then, Beatrice, you told me. Beatrice told you to read after the meal is over, right? It's okay, everyone. This envelope didn't come from Grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide? That's right. I'm gonna call her Beatrice because I like the sound of that more. Even if Father didn't necessarily write it, I'd still like to know what's written inside. Maria-chan, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force earlier. I apologize, so will you read it aloud in front of everyone? Maria, read it. As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle. I keep saying started instead of stared, I don't know why. Do you think it really did come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever Father has announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it directly. Correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach. That's right. Maria, a messenger? That definitely doesn't suit Father's taste. Rosa, could this be Maria-chan trying to surprise us by putting on some kind of show? Maria isn't really a kid who'd be capable of something so thoughtful. I'm gonna read it. The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason, her voice seemed different from usual. Everyone went suddenly silent. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna read this letter next time. Bye-bye.